Catch Gurl TauX every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GURL TauX, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams, scrolling through your daily memes. Gurl TauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl
I'm not
TauX is
sure
all
what's going
about.
on with that, but hopefully
Keeping it real,
I
it's
don't
what we
get kicked
do.
off. Yeah,
So
is the
tune
way it
in
goes,
now
right?
and join our crew.
Technology, gotta love it.
Lights moving through the
And
screen. Click subscribe,
sometimes
don't
you
be
gotta
me.
hate
I'll
it,
be chatter.
It is what it is, and sometimes we just have to
Gurl
deal
TauX
with it,
show,
right?
don't miss
That's the way
out.
life
Join
is.
the fun and see what Gurl TauX is
so,
all about.
hey,
Gurl TauX is who we are.
let's talk.
Come hang with us on your tablet, phone,
I'm
or
just gonna
screen.
say, hot flashes
Anywhere
have
Gurl
people been
TauX
holding it
can be
together life
seen.
after 50. Well,
Gurl TauX show, don't miss out.
hey,
Join the
my
fun,
dear
see what Gurl
fabulous
TauX is
over
all about. Update stories, laugh and cry.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Gurl
talking
TauX,
about.
so don't
Talk
question
about those
why.
hot flashes.
It's the show that you'll
Here at Gurl
adore.
TauX,
Come
of
back
course, this is where
daily to
we
get
talk real
some
life,
more.
no filters, no fluff.
Gurl
Just our
TauX
fabulous
show,
fans
don't
of
miss
hot
out.
takes.
Join the fun, see
And
what Gurl TauX is all about.
You know, I have been going through this for a little while now, and I'll tell you what, it's rather annoying.
Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen.
But it is what it is.
Gurl TauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun,
I tell my
see what Gurl
husband,
TauX is all
sometimes I
about.
wake up just totally drenched in sweat.
GURL
And I
log
hope
in now,
it's
watch
not
our show.
annoying.
Likes and comments, let them flow.
I'm gonna look at the screen and it's like,
Every day we're on our way. Gurl TauX show is here to stay.
my glasses. I'll just
Gurl
take it off
TauX
for now.
show, don't miss out. Join the fun,
Every
see
time I
what
look up
Gurl
there, it
TauX
makes
is
some
all
noise.
about.
So we will see. Hopefully this will stay running this time, and I won't have to get kicked off again for the third time. But sometimes when I'm sleeping, I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm hot and sweaty and just hating life for a minute. I literally will wake up my husband, and I got this from a comedian, and I can't remember his name, but I wake him up and I go, "Feel this," and he'll put his hand out, and he's half asleep, and he's like, "Ew, what's that?" I'm like, "I'm all sweaty," and he goes, "Why do I have to touch it?" And I said, "'Cause if I have to live through this, so do you." And now he laughs about it, and I go, "And touch it, it's nasty." And it's just part of that feeling funny, I guess, trying to feel still funny while we're dealing with this conversation of navigating life after 50. And yes, honey, that's beautiful, mysterious, sometimes frustrating stage when your body starts throwing curveballs, menopause, weight changes, medical curveballs you didn't expect, i.e., my emergency surgery, gallbladder surgery. You didn't even plan to RSVP to that, and the mental shift of it all, the hormone imbalances, the crying at things that don't need to be cried at, or crying too much when you don't need to about everything, or the feeling of depression that you have when you didn't expect that part of it, the whole thing. So there's some people I'm very envious and jealous of. I'm not going to lie, being over 50 and going through the stuff that I go through. Sometimes I see some of these other people that are in their 50s and they're doing phenomenal. They're looking like their best self ever. They're vibing amazingly, and their bodies aren't rejecting them like mine feels like it's doing. They don't have the trouble walking. I'll hear, "Well, just start walking, just start." I'm like, I can't even walk. My feet hurt so bad all the time because of neuropathy, and my back is in constant pain because of the trauma I've put it through my whole life. And then you add in the medical problems that I have, and people are like, "Well, always wanting and looking for ways to lose weight and get healthier. And they're like, "Well, just eat better, eat healthy foods." I'm actually a very healthy eater, and I'm not an overeater. In fact, I'm an undereater, probably more than anything else. I don't like food very much. I'm not a foodie, that's for sure. So, there's just there's just some things that I know are out of your control, so you just have to try to control them the best you can. But at the same time, like, it doesn't help when you see people are, um that are in their 50s or even in their early 60s, and they're, like, thriving with their best life. It gets a little frustrating because I would like to be there too. You know, Uh, if you're wondering why your waistline pulled a disappearing act, I've got you. I don't I don't got you because we don't actually fully understand how menopause works. Because if you talk to one doctor, they say this. If you talk to another doctor, they say this. You talk to one person, they say, don't take this. And the other person says, do take this. Um, there's a lot of misunderstanding about it. Like, I haven't minded too much the hot flashes in some sense because I've always been cold my entire life, like freezing cold all the time. Just I don't know if it was just a circulation issue, but my whole life I've always been really cold. So here I am at, you know, 110 degrees outside in the hot sunshine or whatever, and I'm in a sweatshirt in the sun because I'm still cold. And so wearing a sweater or a sweatshirt or whatever in the middle of summer in Arizona didn't bother me a bit. Now I wear tank tops all the time because I'm always hot, but it's actually like given me a little bit of an equilibrium, except for at night when I get the hot sweats and stuff. That's horrible. But but I don't wanna wear the tank tops when I go out somewhere because I don't like my flabby arms. So there's there's this and there's that. Um, uh, and I have to say though, dear Margaret's mailbox has been bursting at the seams, to talk about this. I've been saving some, I've been putting some aside for this discussion. So let's dig into those letters and see what we have from the people that are talking about this glorious and wonderful thing called aging, menopause, life after 50, that kind of thing. So let's get to that one. I'm going to kick back here, bring my mic up. And dear Margaret, I've always been a size 10, but ever since menopause kicked in, I feel like my metabolism packed up and left. I eat the same, move the same, but nothing is budging. I'm frustrated and honestly a little bit embarrassed. Is this just the new me, or is there hope for turning this cruise ship around? Signed, bloating, brooding, and buying stretchy pants. Oh, I'll tell you what, I feel like um, life after 50 means stretch pants. I really do, because, like, I have the same issue. I don't eat in I technically do sorta eat a little bit differently because I eat a lot healthier than I have in, the past, but I don't eat a lot. I actually eat my ability to eat larger quantities of food has been, like, eliminated. I don't eat a lot of food. I eat very small portions. I don't snack a ton. I have chips every now and then, but my chips of desire are, like, jalapeno chips, so I don't eat very many. I don't eat a lot of candy. I don't like chocolate. I very rarely eat ice cream, any of those things, but yet I can't lose weight for anything. I'm 54, and, when I got COVID Oh, excuse me. I got COVID pretty bad. Got it for like 3 months. It was horrible. I mean, it lasted like 3 months. Um, the majority of it was gone probably in a month and a half, but the rest of it, and technically the eating part lasted well over a year. Food tasted horrible, food smelled horrible, everything smelt and tasted like it was rotten. I didn't wanna eat anything. I mean, I got so bad that I ended up in the hospital, really not because of the COVID situation. I ended up more in the hospital because I ended up with malnutrition and dehydration. Can you imagine that? That's what I ended up with because basically I had not eaten hardly anything in 3, 4 months or more. I barely was eating to keep alive. And I mean, I was in such bad shape when I went to the hospital that they were like, "How are you still okay?" And I said, "Frankly, I don't know how I'm still okay because I feel horrible." And of course, one of the nurses went ballistic when they realized I had a positive COVID because I was positive still or positive again. I'm not sure which it was. But regardless, I was positive for COVID. So that nurse ran around screaming, "Oh my God, she's got COVID. She's got COVID." And I mean, this nurse went so out of craziness out in the hallway that I could hear them. And he came in all gowned up in the whole shebang. And I said, "Get out of my room. I don't want you in here. I don't want anybody who's that psychotic about it, that is paranoid, because you are not gonna give me the care I deserve. So you get out of the room." And he was the head nurse, so that's a whole 'nother story, my COVID story. But let me tell you, it was very frustrating. So for someone who can completely relate to this, in that time, and the whole reason I'm even telling that story is in that time, 3, 4 months, I still didn't lose a single pound. Even though I had been so sick that I was malnutritioned and dehydrated, I still didn't lose any weight. You would think I would have lost 5, 10, 20, 30 pounds, not a pound. Not a pound difference that I recall going down. So it's a little bit frustrating. And now I'm working diligently at trying to lose some weight now, and which is very difficult because I can't seem to lose any. And I'm told, "Go walk, go walk. Walking will help." And I can't walk very far with my feet. I'm trying to do something about that. So you have these other medical things that pop in with the menopause, with the over 50, and it makes things a little bit more difficult. What I can say is if that's your only problem and you don't have any other medical issues that you're dealing with, you don't have walking issues or whatever, you know, maybe change up your diet. Look up, and this is what I recently did, is look up the stuff that is good for helping you over the age of 50 and with menopause, because there are certain foods that I've been learning are not as good for you with a slower metabolism. So that could be something that would be helpful. So let's get back to the Dear Margaret questions. I got to pull this thing closer because I can't reach it. Dear Margaret, I'm on meds for high blood pressure and arthritis, and ever since turning 52, I feel like my energy has flatlined. I used to be the first one on the dance floor. Now I just want to nap and Google symptoms. How do I stay active without burning out or breaking something? Your naps and knee braces. Ex Zumba queen turned couch sage. Um, I would say, yeah, for you, I think you do need to look at some things, because I don't know what your weight issue is. But if you used to be the first one on the dance floor and you're now on blood pressure medicine, um, You may have a weight issue, so you might need to go and, see a doctor about, those things. But, what else can you look at? Can you maybe take a dance class and see if you could keep up with it? Um, is there something else that you might be able to do that could help you to feel like you're back to your old self, and maybe setting some discipline rules on your phone? I recently have done that because I have a very difficult time going to bed, going to sleep. So, one of the things I just recently did is I set a routine on my phone to turn off my volume, turn off all my apps. It won't let me into anything after 12 o'clock at night because I have a really difficult time going to sleep early. Last night I did go to sleep early for once, but I turned my phone do not disturb or my sleep mode on early. Um, it was funny because I climbed into bed and my husband said, "You have 2 minutes to finish what I was doing." And, so I did, and I did go to bed, but I have a hard time going to sleep, but then once I get woken up in the morning, I have a difficult time getting up, and I know that I battle a little bit of depression right now because of all the things I'm going through, and I'm working hard, and I'm trying really hard, but sometimes I feel like I'm running around in circles and then running into a wall. Run around in a circle and run into a wall. And I feel like I can only run into a wall so many times before I feel like I'm losing it completely. So I think it's important that you try to find a way to run around those circles and avoid the wall, because I feel like I'm constantly running into that wall. So if you're having medical issues like high blood pressure, arthritis at 52, you're dealing with some more issues, I think, than the average 50-year-old. So that is something that I would definitely be going to see the doctor and talk to the doctor about, because you might need to adjust your meds. You might need to adjust some of the things you're doing. And I have found so much that adjusting the different foods you're eating can be absolutely a change to your lifestyle too. So that there is that. Keep that in mind. All right, back to Dear Margaret. And I didn't play the Dear Margaret music this time because of having to restart the show twice. So maybe I'll play it at the end, when we're done with Dear Margaret. How's that? So Dear Margaret, no one warned me that one is kind of funny, actually. I'm not gonna lie. This one's kind of funny. Um, Dear Margaret, no one warned me that menopause comes with more than hot flashes. Mood swings, anxiety, brain fog. It's like I'm staring into my own soap opera. How do I know when it's just menopause or something more serious? Forever emotionally sweaty, the dramatic Duchess of Hormone Hill. Oh, that was cute. Well, I have to say that, there is something to be said to that, because I just recently went through a medical emergency and ended up in the hospital and had emergency surgery. And I think the best answer to that is know your body and listen to your body. If your body is telling you something, you need to listen to it, because there's probably a reason why your body's reacting the way that it is. And sometimes we have to listen to our bodies more than we're listening to our heads, because you can talk yourself out of or into anything. And your body will tell you if there's something truly wrong that you need to go listen to it. And I would suggest you go listen to that. Otherwise, study. That's what I've been doing lately, is studying up on menopause and probiotics for your gut, and yogurts, and all the different things that you can eat that make it better, and the things that you need to avoid. I think at some point I'll go into some more of those details as I've been doing my research and getting to know them better. Next, Dear Margaret. Dear Margaret, I want to start dating again, but who wants a woman who with joint pain, hormone creams, and 3 kinds of specialists on speed dial? Am I undateable now or just overthinking? Cautiously Cupid curious, hot flashes, and high hopes. So that one is interesting, especially since I'm not in the dating world. I can't completely relate to that, except for as a married woman with a husband who absolutely is amazing and loves me, and I love my husband, and we have a great relationship. Romance is definitely something that um got put on the burner, but the burner got forgot to get turned on, and you're just sitting there waiting for that pot to boil, and you eventually walk over there and go, "Well, what the hell? Why isn't this pot oh, nobody turned on the burner." Yeah, I have that issue. I think we all start having that issue, and we have other things that go into it. So, finding that intimacy for somebody who's married, you have to maybe look outside of certain things and find the romance and elsewhere, and it will build up, and make sure to turn that burner on. For some, um, you have to turn that burner on really, really low and let it slow boil and let it get there. Um, and for others, you need to turn it on to the turbo and get it there quicker. But for you in the dating world, you have to be maybe a little bit more cautious. Definitely looking at probably dating people more in your age group because they might be more receptive to the things that you're dealing with versus a younger guy. Although a younger guy might be able to turn that turbo on a lot quicker. Yeah, I might have to try some of that. I don't know, to be honest with you. You have to look that whole thing through. Um and I think we all do look at some of those different parts of it, and we have to look at it like um we have to look at it like an experiment in so many terms. You have to kind of experiment with how this is going to work for you and try different things to make it um more effective for you, and you might find that where you're at is not where you want to be. So you just have to keep trying something new and something different as you go along. Um, and it's not always easy, you know? I mean, you have to remember age is just a number and hot flashes are lifestyles. That's part of it. So you also have to realize that there's nothing wrong with you, and um dating at that age can be also exciting and fun. From what I hear, I've been married for a while, so I haven't been dating in this menopausal hot flash change of life cycle. Um, but I have friends that are in that age group, and there is something to be said about the over 40 and over 50. I guess there's some of that too. But you are your own age, stage, connect with your audience, connect with the guys that you wanna connect with, you know? I mean, that's really what you have to do. Your audience are the people that would probably like the same things you like, think about the same things you think about, do the things that you do. Um, and if they're not, then you're in the dating world, so you can cut it and move on. Um, the reality of turning 50 is your body shifts, your mind shifts, and your expectations shift. So you might have to shift where your thought process is. You might have to shift where your body is. You might have to shift what your expectations are. So if you liked younger guys before, you might have to go closer to your own age. Anyway, let's get into more of the topic itself. We're not breaking down, we're breaking open. That's the important part. We have to talk about these things that bother us, these things that we are affected by, what fatigue we have, the weight gain, dryness, fatigue, beyond those basics, beyond those basic things that we all know about hot flashes. But is that the only thing that you're dealing with? Weight changes, belly fat, slower metabolism, all of those things, chronic health. You got blood pressure, you got thyroid. I've had thyroid for a long time, joint pains, hip pains, back pains. I don't have blood pressure issues at all. Even though my heart decided to stop a couple weeks ago. But it had literally nothing to do with my heart, which is a wonderful thing. But it's not always that way. So we have to realize that there are going to be all these changes. Um, I don't know what the answers are. What I know is that many of us are going through this, and it's a lot easier to go through it together and talk about it and be open and honest and share stories, share things about the different things that are happening to us. Let me tell you about the moment I realized my genes had turned on me. Um, and and it is a fact when you sit here and you go, I like my stretchy pants. I don't wanna be condemned, and I don't wanna be shot down for my stretchy pants. I will tell you the one thing about wearing the stretchy pants that I don't like is I'm a carrier. Like, I carry a firearm. I'm an avid carrier of a firearm, but I can't carry it with my stretchy pants. And I used to carry on the belt with the holster on my jeans. Now it's just about every time I put on my jeans, I get irritated because they aren't comfortable. They don't stretch the way I thought they used to. They are tight on my belly. They're uncomfortable. I put on a pair of jeans to go out to dinner the other night with my husband, and they were so uncomfortable, I took them right off. Now, granted, this is right after I had surgery, so my belly's still a bit tender. So there is that aspect of it. But are you kidding me? I feel like I have to pack up all my jeans and put them away. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put them away. I'm gonna work on things so that I can try to get back into them if I can. Um, but the reality is sometimes the changes that are happening all of a sudden feel like they came suddenly, and some do, some don't. But you also have to look at, inviting another part into your life with better eating, better habits, maybe working more towards a resolution, working towards a solution instead of instead of being angry about it, maybe find another solution to it. Sorry, my glasses are so dirty. But finding another solution that can maybe fix some of the problems that you're having. Because some of the problems you might be having could be food related. Even though you have that age thing, that's also another misconception I think some of us have is everything is not related to the menopause. But can we get caught up in the hype of blaming everything on menopause? Blaming everything on aging, and maybe some of it's not shouldn't be blamed on aging. Maybe some of it is related to lifestyle. Maybe some of it needs to be fixed with lifestyle changes, and especially after we turned 50, we have to make adjustments to our lifestyle. We have to change how we do things and whether or not we do things the same way as we used to. Um, so we have to think about all of those parts of it. not everything is one thing. It's not cookie cutter. It's not one thing is the answer to everything. You have the mood swings, anxiety, brain fog, depression. Those are all huge parts of the menopausal aging part of things, but not everything is because of menopause. You know, there is also something that we don't necessarily think about as part of that aging thing, but you know, there's grief around aging. Um, you are grieving your identity, your past expectations, the who you used to be and the who you are today. You are grieving that person. And I don't know, maybe I need to have a funeral for my old self. But there can be beauty though in the new awareness of yourself and creating these boundaries that you set for yourself to not um revel in the old, revel in the what I used to be and think about the who you are now. Um the things you go through and the things that um you sit and you ponder over. Well, I used to be able to do this. I used to could. But maybe you can again, you just might have to do it differently. Like if you used to go hiking a lot, I loved hiking. If you used to go hiking a lot, maybe you can readjust that to do something similar, but yet not as difficult or not, or maybe smaller hikes or maybe not as high a mountains or hills or whatever you used to hike, but pick other areas where you can try something new that isn't quite as strenuous as it used to be. You know, if you constantly switch it up and maybe you just walk up and down around your yard or you get a a piece of machinery to go do those hikes with and make it a little funner. I don't know. There's just something that you can put in there. But I think that the most important thing is that we have to have that self-awareness where you know who you are and you know what you're capable of and push yourself to do those things that are more and don't sit and dwell on the things that make you sad or make you upset and then think about those things that make you sad or upset or some really weird things that make you cry. Like literally this one morning I cried over toast. Literally. I cried over toast. And what it taught me is I wasn't crying over toast. I was just crying. I was sad about changing. I was sad over getting old. I was sad over and the toast was and it was literally because I like to butter my toast when it's really hot out of the toaster, especially if I'm making cinnamon toast. Who out there likes cinnamon toast? I still do. My grandmother used to give it to me as a kid. My favorite was cinnamon toast and hot chocolate. But I haven't had that in a long time because my grandma's been gone for a long time. So it's a memory thing for me as well. And my mom likes it, so I quite often make cinnamon toast for us. And what made me cry over it is because I really like to butter it when it's hot because the butter melts nicely into it and the cinnamon sugar on top really melts into the butter. And it had popped and I was filling juices or doing something and I came over and the toast was cold and I just started crying. Like I had no control over crying over spilt milk, over cold toast. But after crying for a moment, I got myself together and said, "Well, you can push the toaster button down again and it'll get hot again. And then So I did that for a couple seconds, and I took one of the pieces of toast out and put it on the other side. Just put that one down, let it heat up a little bit, popped it out, buttered it, and then I put the other one down. So it's okay. And I was able to actually pull myself through that one. We have weight and menopause struggles. Those are big struggles. Energy crashes, those are huge for me. And meds that you might be on, making sure that they're the right ones. The emotional roller coaster of hormones, crying at a commercial. I mean, I don't cry at commercials really much anymore because I don't watch very many commercials, but I cry over the silliest thing that I'm like, this is not cryable. this is more like an offense. I should not be crying over this. My empathy meter is so much higher than it ever used to be. But my self-worth is lower than it's ever been. And thank God I don't have to deal with the dating over 50, but I think romancing over 50 is still another part of it. I mean, I I have started to lose a little weight. And I'm very happy that I am losing the little bit of weight that I'm losing. But I kid you not, the other day my husband says, "You're losing weight, aren't you?" Now, if you can notice, you'll see it a little bit in my face. I've lost about 15 pounds. Um, and I said, "Oh, you can notice?" He goes, "Yeah, your boobs are smaller." And it cracks me up because only men are going to notice your ass or your boobs have lost weight, not anywhere else, not whether or not you have anything left in your belly or you've lost anything in your belly. No, what they're going to notice is if you have lost weight in your boobs or your butt. That's what they're going to notice. So, hey, I take that as a win though. Like if he at least notices that my boobs are gotten smaller, maybe my butt's getting a little bit smaller, maybe my pants are going to look a little bit better. But at least he noticed something. Uh, what I want you to realize is you're worth way more than your waistline. It's in your walk, it's in your talk, it's in how you look at yourself, how you look at life. You're worth so much more all the time, every time, and you have to remember that your worth is way more than your waistline. So if you struggle with it, it's okay. You just have to work a little bit harder and you can get where you want to get by just continuously pushing forward and pushing through. Can you imagine yourself changing your exercise routine, changing your movements versus exercising? If you could change some of those things and make it more of a routine and find the joy in the routine where you can find yourself going for a walk, put some headphones on and listen to some music that you like to listen to, and set yourself like maybe a short little playlist that you can set your playlist to, 3, 4, 5 songs. Maybe when you start, set it to um Donna says, let me show. Donna says, "You're a Cancer, no escaping emotions." Exactly. As a Cancer, I'm going to show my emotions. And let's see, what else did Donna say? But was the toast good and did you die? But did you die? I mean, that's what we always say. No, I didn't die. I ate the toast and the toast ended up being really good. And actually, what I learned from that, there is something that I learned from that. And part of this was I make the toast for me and mom, and I generally make it at the same time. So there's 4 slots, and I put 2 pieces in and 2 pieces in. And what I have learned from that toast experience, that toast catastrophe, is that I push one down and I go get the glasses and I go get the juice. Then I stop by and I push the other one down and then I go fill the juice, and by the time I'm filling that juice, the first one popped. Butter it real quick while it's sitting there melting, and I put the cinnamon sugar on it. I can go finish filling the second glass of juice because I probably only filled one of them by the time it popped, and then I go back over and it pops, and I do the other side, put its cinnamon sugar on it, and they're both done on time. They're both melted properly, and they both have the right amount of cinnamon sugar on them because I'm not rushing. But that is a lesson that I learned from that. So that is a good part of it. So you can find those different exercises or routines. And like I said, make a playlist of 4 or 5 songs, maybe start with 3 songs and play those 3 songs and walk until those songs are done. And then, walk until the second song starts, and then shortly after the second song starts, turn around and start heading back. And then the next day, add a song. For me, songs or listening to music while I'm doing something physical is much better for me than trying to put a timer. Because a timer, I'm just watching the clock and I'm focused too much on how far am I gotten? My feet hurt. I'm how much longer do I have? I'm too focused on the time and not what I'm doing. And if I'm listening to music, because I love music, it's, part of my life is I write music. So I can put a fun playlist together and just keep adding a song every so often so you can increase the place that you're going. For me, a bigger part of my problem is sleep and sleeping. And I need to make sure that I am going to bed and getting restful sleep. And I'm up and down all night long because I have to go to the bathroom or whatever. So I'm working on getting quality sleep and sleeping better. And my hard part now is also getting up, so I gotta work on that part of it, and I just started taking a new supplement. I hope that it helps. I don't know if it's going to help, but I really hope it's gonna help, and the other part of it is doing something that helps with your soul, helps with your, inner peace, something that you can do to help others, community therapy, choosing yourself every day. I know that I can feel when I'm getting into that depression zone. And when I'm getting into that depression zone, I have to catch myself. I have to watch myself. And I have even talked to my husband about it and said, when you see these things, you see these signs, please correct me. And it's a big deal to admit to someone else that you're having struggles here and asking them for the help to correct you on behaviors like, hey, babe, if I am in the same clothes for 2 days, like one day and then the next day, you need to correct me on that. You need to say, "Why are you in the same clothes?" Like, you need to be in the habit of getting dressed. I think that is a huge part of how you feel good about yourself is getting dressed, putting your hair. Now, everybody has gotten kind of used to, I've done this for years. I like my pigtails and my hats. As you can see, I have a bunch of hats over here on this side. I have my stack of hats, and that's not even all my hats. That's just a handful of my hats, but I love hats. So I love wearing my hats. And as a matter of fact, I don't think Donna got to see this hat yesterday. If she's still watching, um, this is the hat I put on yesterday. This is Kristen's hat from her Kentucky Derby party that she went to. But it's hard to see in that one. Because it covers half my face. Um, but it is interesting when you have different things that happen and you don't address them and you don't focus on them and you don't think about them. You do have to think about them. You do have to focus on them. You have to come up with ways of handling something. I know that one tiny thing I started doing after I turned 50, that has changed everything is not so focused on wearing makeup all the time. And honestly, it makes me feel better because I'm not dealing with my eye watering. I have allergies apparently to like any makeup I put on my eyes. So I can't put eyeliner on. Haven't for years. Mine's tattooed on because of that reason. But it's instead of it being a ritual that I put makeup on, it's become more of a ritual of taking care of my skin and using my cleansers and my moisturizers and my tighteners and all those things to make my skin feel better. And that way, when I do put makeup on, I have a total different appearance and I look really good when I put the makeup on instead of just looking the same as I always do. That's kind of something simple for myself anyway. Um, and what you could do, um, uh, what you can do is come up with something that's new for you that you want to make as part of a ritual that you want to either break out of doing all the time or you want to start doing all the time. Um, um, if you could figure out something that you could do for yourself, for your mental health, mindset, your menopausal self, uh, if you could come up with something that you could do to change what you're doing now, um, versus what you were doing in your 40s and 30s, and maybe break it down for yourself as to what you were doing in your 30s. Um, and you might find that you have more creativeness than you used to have. And maybe you want to start doing something more creative and doing more art projects. If you have grandchildren, maybe doing some more art projects, something that something that can make you come out of your shell. That might be a really good way to look at doing some different things that can make you come out of the woe is me, I'm in menopause stage. Um, um, and that it's just an idea. I know I do a lot of art, so it's helpful for me. Um, Maybe it would be helpful for you. I'm sorry, I'm responding to someone right now. let's see. Somebody that sent a message that wanted me to post it and was kind of being pushy about posting a message that I thought was inappropriate. And so I said, if you rewrite that so it doesn't look so inappropriate, um, I would be happy to share that, but I'm not going to share it with it the way that they wrote it. Anyway, let's move on past that. So if you are dealing with the hot flashes, the night sweats, the libido limbo, the vaginal dryness, yep, I said it. For some people like myself, I'm also dealing with incontinence. That's another issue that's hugely embarrassing and hard to deal with. Technically, it's gotten better since my surgery. So I think that my stomach being distended and my gallbladder being distended, I think pushing down on that was affecting it. It's not gone, but it's still an issue. So it still deals with my mental health on that because it's embarrassing. It feels horrible. And it feels like I'm aging even more than I am. And you have the hormonal shifts and how they affect your mood, your memory, your metabolism. All those things are parts that we have to break down and we have to think about. That stubborn belly fat that laughs at your kale. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a very healthy eater and I'm not going to eat kale. I mean, if there's a little bit of kale in in my salad or something, I will eat it, but I'm not going to just sit and eat kale, and I'm not going to put it into um my drinks on purpose or anything like that. And you have your muscles, they're disappearing faster than your patience is. And relearning your body and how to nourish it. I think those are some very important factors that we have to think about and we have to look at. And you have to go in and find some um you have to find some healthy diet, nutritional facts that are work with um a menopausal body and women and over 50 and all those different things. But one of the things that I am concerned about is there's so many advertisements about menopause, pills that you can take that are supposed to eliminate this or bring back your sex drive or get rid of the one commercial I see constantly on Facebook that pops up is that Meno one, which I did buy. Um, and I took it for several months. I didn't see any changes at all. That stuff wasn't very cheap. Maybe I need to take it longer. Um, but their ads are cringy. Their ads are cringy, showing these girls scratching their cooch and doing some stuff that I'm like, why do they have to make it gross and cringy, you know? And then now it's a turnoff. Like I would never buy their product again because I'm now so turned off by their advertising. Um, um, What have you thought about when you see those commercials? Do you think, that looks good. I want to try that. Or do you think the same way I am now? Now, their first commercials were enticing. They were enough to where I did go buy it. Um, and again, maybe I didn't give it long enough chance. I'm not sure. Um, but when something is that cringy, I don't know. It doesn't make me want to buy their product. What you have to learn is also making sure that you keep track of your doctor's appointments and going to your doctor's appointments. And you have to realize as we're aging, of course, we're going to be implementing more doctor's visits in our calendar than we have brunches and lunches with our girlfriends. And you have to learn how to advocate for yourself. When you go to those doctor's appointments, you need to be open and honest with your doctor more than anyone else. But you also have to not take every single thing that they say as God's honest truth. They may not know what they're talking about. Now, I know that recently I just found out that my doctor, she was a uh, nurse practitioner, and she's recently left our doctor's office and went to a new place. And but quite often when I would go talk to her, some of her questions made me feel like she thought I was nuts. Like she was insinuating that stuff was going on in my head in some ways. Well, now I learned that she left to go be a psychologist because she was finishing up her degree in psychology and her residency in psychology. So she was becoming a psychologist. So yeah, it would gear more towards that. But was she doing that because she was trying to psych evaluate me instead of listening to what I was actually saying? And some of those things is you have to realize that there are changes in your body, and researching. There's so much information out there now that you can pretty much find anything that you want to find, you can find. So when you go in for that wellness check and you leave with 3 prescriptions and a stern talking to from your bones and your doctor, about lifestyle changes or things that you need to do, you have to listen to some of that, but also take it with a grain of salt, maybe put in some research into what is actually helping, what is happening to you. Put in some of that research that goes with it. Um, um, See, I don't have people on here that I can have that I can ask to watch what these people are saying, but this one person is just being disrespectful and rude. So I told them not to message anymore. So hopefully they just will go away. Who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. Um, but anyway, back to emotional resilience and identity reboot. Yes, you have to realize that you are in that midlife mood swing state of mind. And you're going to have the irritability, the anxiety, the sadness, and the occasional kitchen floor cry session over toast. And obviously you feel like your emotions are bigger than your bra size. Um, those are times that you can and should rely on yourself, do some research, but also um, be open and honest and share with your partner, your husband, and make sure they know where you're coming from if you can. I mean, I try to share everything with my husband. Um, my mom lives with us, so I do talk to my mom. Um, and not having kids here does make a bit of a difference. Sometimes it feels like the kids don't care at all because they've got their own lives and they're busy. And I try to remind myself that that's why they don't call as often as I would like them to, is because they're busy and they have lives and they have kids and they have to take care of their families. So that letting go of being needed all the time and learning how to need yourself. You have to need yourself and you have to want yourself. And maybe it's a time to take on a new challenge or a new project that you and your spouse can do together, or you can do yourself. Those are things that you can do to help yourself. Get those hobbies, passions, and find your voice. Because just because you're over 50 doesn't mean you're dead yet. Shed those expectations that you've outgrown and make new expectations. change your goals from the goals of being 30 and 40 and starting your career or whatever to in your 50s and what your new expectations and your new goals might be, because they just might be better now than they ever have been. And who I am now is no longer the who I needed to be then. So you needed to be something at that time, but you no longer need to be that person. It's okay to be this new person. Um, it's okay to start something new. Um, I started doing art, um, really, really strongly started doing art, uh, probably about 2011. I mean, I did some before that, but 2011, 2010, something like that. My husband and I went to, excuse me, I'm like dry mouth. But my husband and I went to, and I should say more creative art, like really digging into a little bit deeper art. But my husband and I went to a Christmas in the Vineyards. We used to go every year. We were in California, Nevada, and we'd go up to Livermore, California, and do Christmas in the Vineyards with his aunt and mom and dad and family friends and stuff like that. And it was a tradition for quite a few years. And we went, and there was a lamp that I wanted, a light fixture, wine related. And my husband said, "Well, you can go ahead and get it." And I was like, "Okay." So I went over, I came back, and we're paying for the wine we were buying. And he's like, "Well, I thought you were getting the light." And I was like, "Yeah, that light's $2,500. I'm not getting that light." And he was like, "Oh, okay." In total agreement with me. And we got home, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm gonna make my own." And he kind of giggled and laughed. And um, I made this new light out of a wine box, and I made it look like a box of wine hanging on the wall with light coming out of the bottom of it, but then you could open it a little bit or a lot or all the way, and you could see the 3 bottles of wine with their labels still on it, so it looks like a bottle of wine, but yet it's not a bottle of wine. It's actually, um, light fixtures. And he helped me with the, putting the light in it and doing the wiring and stuff like that, and it was a beautiful light, and I was really proud of myself, and it made me pull out of it made me pull out of myself some creative side that I had never done before, and I was so proud of how that came out, and it turned out so good, and it was really pretty. And that was something that started in me the idea of looking at something and saying, "I can make that, and I can do that, and I can fix that." Um, and we have to realize that there is so much more to us than our age. It's just a number. So you can figure out how to do all the things um, that you need to do for yourself. And for those of you that are single, Donna, um, dating again, the awkwardness, the fun, and "so what meds are you on?" conversation. Um, and I think that is something that we have to deal with over the age of 50 is we are all dealing with something different and learning the new things that we didn't have to deal back in the past, like online dating. When I was younger, um, online dating or putting an ad in the paper was a thing. and you were only a loser if you put an ad in the paper. And for those few that had those websites where you signed up to do the dating profile, you were a weirdo. Yeah. We thought you were nutso. There was something wrong with you. You were strange. And now that's common. You have the online dating, you have the apps, but you also are learning about ghosting. And also, I think a big part of it is you have to follow that gut instinct, which is hard to do with an online profile. So, for those of you doing that online dating or new dating over 50, you have to think about being very cautious for yourself. And menopause can affect your intimacy and communications because obviously some things might be more um, touchy to where that crying could come out at any time. And then those initial interactions, romantically intimate interactions, might be dealt with a lot different than they did in your 20s and 30s. Now for some women, lucky them, but for some women, the over 40 turned into the over 50, and their sexual exploits are very active and very good. And some people got the end of the stick. And I swear it was like God said, "You can't procreate anymore, so I'm going to light your ass on fire and let you deal with it." And you're constantly just trying to put out the fire, trying to put out the fire. That and it's not an intimacy fire; it's a loathing, horrible, soul burning fire that's tearing your whole body apart, and you just don't want no part of any of it. So you have to work on those things. And I think communication is one of the best ways you can do that. Um, with a partner, you have to redefine what passion in partnership looks like, because you have to get those intimate moments that maybe are not always sexual, but can be intimate with your partner by doing certain things for them and with them and together, so that you can build on your relationship and not break it down. Um, and you also have to remember that confidence doesn't come from a mirror. It comes from boundaries, laughter, fun, what you find in yourself, how you find your joy in your own company, and not apologizing for who you are, not apologizing for the things you're going through. I know I apologize to my husband all the time because of all the bullshit I'm dealing with and going through. It's not his fault. It's not what he signed up for. But yeah, actually it is, because we signed up for better, for worse. Um, um, and, I think that we have to think about those things in a way that you're just as important. Like, go buy yourself flowers if you need to. And I know years ago, I went out and bought myself flowers. And honestly, I thought after I bought the flowers and I put them up on my table, I thought, well, I've got better taste anyway. So it didn't hurt my feelings that, he had never bought me flowers, but he wasn't there anymore. My husband may not buy flowers, but my husband does some of the most sweetest things for me sometimes, like stopping to pick me up a Starbucks on the way home. I know a lot of people don't like Starbucks, whatever, whatever. I have a certain concoction that I have made up on my own that is mine. It's not on the menu, and my husband will stop and pick that up for me for no reason. He will come home with certain things that I really like, as he calls it, my cardboard cereal. I like shredded wheat, and he calls it cardboard, but he'll stop and pick me up some of my cardboard cereal, or certain things that he does for me that in some ways you really think about it, are even sweeter than him stopping to pick up flowers. Sure, flowers would feel nice, but they also die. Um, I can eat my cereal without any regret, and it's not gonna die on me. I mean, it'll go away. I'll finish the box eventually, but that's okay. Um, so you also have to think about your spirituality and your grounding and your mental health. And what I have found recently that has helped quite a bit is journaling has always been a thing for me. I've always loved to journal, but you can also get therapy. um, Meditation is really good. I've been listening to a lot of meditations lately, which help me with the calming of myself before I go to bed. Prayers, of course, and the occasional cussing. I do that. I have a shirt that says I live on uh, coffee, chaos, and cuss words because I do like the cussy words. But also using my motivational and devotional, A Little God Time for Women. This book has been really inspirational to me. I read at least one of those every day, and they really help me. All these are valid paths, valid things that you can do for yourself. And also, the other part that I have been realizing that is important for me is that I don't have to be a people pleaser. You don't have to be a people pleaser all the time or even ever, honestly. Just be yourself. I think being your authentic self is much more important than pleasing everybody and thinking that you can please everybody. But you also need to have your, as I call it, flame proof friends. Your friends who are not going to abandon you because you have an attitude that day or you had a problem. Um, because obviously we're going through these cycles and we're going through this roller coaster of emotions and hormones and all that stuff. So you're not going to have every moment's not going to be a great moment. So, and you can say no without feeling guilty about it. It's okay if you don't want to go somewhere or you don't want to go do anything. Don't get in a habit of not wanting to go anywhere and not wanting to do anything, but you don't have to feel guilty about saying no. Um, there are women who support women, but I would also be cautious on the women support women because there are certain avenues of womanhood or women out there that are very vile and they only support women in their same exact place in life. And if they're toxic, that's probably not the women you want to be a part of supporting each other. Um, Discussing it and talking with other people, because of course I think hot flashes are better shared. Everyone should share what we're going through. But we have to live louder and not smaller, mentor each other, mentor young women, and doing the things that you always afraid to do. So go out and, as Donna will say, life is too short not to do the things that make you happy. So, if somebody wants to wear a two-piece bathing suit at 57 and and feel good about it, liberating, do it, darling, do you. I'm not going to do that because nobody wants to see this in a two-piece swimsuit. But I have cute swimsuits. Just because you're heavy and just because you have a weight issue does not mean your suits have to look like a rhinoceros wore them. Okay. You can look like a pretty girl and a cute swimsuit. I have some very cute swimsuits that I really like a lot, and I'm not afraid to wear them. I like how they feel, and it's okay that you're not going to wear a um, you're not going to wear a two-piece just because they say you can, and I'm sorry, I'm not one of those women that believe in the bigger is beautiful. No, I don't. I want to lower my weight. I don't feel good having this extra weight on, so I want to work on getting rid of it. And for all these people who are battling with the, oh, you have to say big is beautiful, and all the people that we were helping saying that about have all been losing weight. Why? Because obesity is not healthy. That's a factual thing. And if you don't work on it in your early 50s, it's going to be harder after 55, and it's going to be harder at 60, and it's going to be even harder come 65 and 70. So remember to be bold, try to be hilarious, empower yourself, empower others, be tender, be sassy, be soulful, um, mostly be yourself, and get into your groove. Um, remember, you're not breaking down, you're burning brighter. Nah. Yeah, because you got the hot flashes. So, um, and for those of you dating, we don't chase, we choose because you have a lot more ability to choose. Um, we're not over the hill. We just own the view now. That's it. We can look down and we look at the view and we say, look at what I've got. I've got all of this down below now. So you can you can keep reaching for that view, but I'm at the view and I can look down and I can see what beautiful things are ahead, as well as what beautiful things are behind. And it's okay to look back at those things and realize that you have so much more to give today than you ever thought you could. And it's a wild ride, and it's okay for you to look at what you did in the past and and relish in what you did in the past. Relish the things that that you could have done then and what you could do now. And I would say, one of the journal entries I think would be a good one for you to put in there is, if I could tell my 49-year-old self one thing, it would be, or say your 39-year-old self, what would that thing be? Let me think about that for a second. If I could tell my 49-year-old self, and that's 5 years ago, one thing, what would it be? Oh, I would tell myself, well, I wish I could talk to myself at 35, really. Um, be better, try harder, and love yourself. I think those would be the 3 things that I would tell, and it said one thing, but I, of course, have to overachieve. But I would tell my 49-year-old self and my 39-year-old self, um, try harder, be better, and love yourself more. I think those are 3 very important things that all of us could use even today. Because sometimes we don't give ourselves a chance. We don't love ourselves enough. We are beautiful, smart women. And we have to remember that we can be our own heroine in our story. This is your story. It's just a chapter in your book, it's a chapter in your story. And you can write it however you want. And I don't intend for my story to end anytime soon. I want my story to last a lot longer than this. So I'm going to try to do things that can improve my life, improve the quality of my life. I have plans. I want to do trips. Donna and I are going to do a trip together, a couple of them, I'm sure. But I want to be healthier and happier and not struggle through those trips. So, what do I have to do to make those better and easier for myself? And and what can I do to improve my um stamina, basically? And I mean stamina by how long can I go for a walk with somebody? How long can I make it through this eh, thing? I don't want to fall asleep in a movie. I don't want to say, let's go for a walk, go some beautiful place. Let's say we go to Greece. And I want to be able to walk the streets of Greece and see everything there is to see and not have every 5 minutes going, oh, I got to sit down, or I, I can't walk up that hill because it's too high. I want to be able to do those things. So how am I going to get there? I have to work harder than I did in my 30s and my 40s. So I have to take each day and put effort in each day to do more today than I did yesterday. And as long as I did more today than yesterday, I can improve for tomorrow. And if we continue to do that and we keep pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves and always keeping those things going, um, even though we have issues that we're dealing with, if you keep your humor high and your estrogen balanced, good luck with that. Um, and your spandex stretchy, you'll be able to get through each and every day. And, for me, I love my hats. So, but I've always loved putting my hair in pigtails. So you'll probably see me more with my pigtails and my hats because that's kind of my old a way of doing it, not putting a ponytail in the back. I've always liked my pigtails. They've always looked good. Um, my glasses I always have on now. I used to not have to wear glasses all the time, but now it's like I couldn't read my screen if I needed to right now. So I have to have my glasses on all the time. But that's something different for me. And so I'm having to readjust to wearing glasses all the time. And I always have kind of cool glasses. These ones are the Meta glasses, in case you haven't had those. Off topic right now, but these are the Meta glasses. So they're really cool. They have a button here on the side. You can push that button and record. You can take a picture with them. Um, and I actually have two pair of these. I have the regular Ray-Ban style that are matte finish, and then these are called the Skylar. So they have that different kind of like cat eye. So you can see when I take a picture, the light flashes. I don't know if you could see that or not. But like if I put the camera on, you can see it, the little light there flashing that it's on right now. See, it's off. But they're kind of cool. I really like them, and the glasses are comfortable too, so that adds to it. Um, but there is so much more to life than just aging gracefully. You can age with a fight. And what I mean by that is, your worth, you're wild and you're beautiful. So it's okay for you to fight to keep yourself going. Fight to break through the things that get thrown at us at 50 something years old, depending on when your menopause started, or if you've even started. Some people haven't even started yet. But if you can continue to break down and break through all those things that get at you and get thrown at you, you can come over on the other side stronger and bolder and better than you were in your 30s. but you have to probably, in some of our situations like mine, I have medical issues that are harder for me. But I have to give myself space and grace, but what I have to remember not to do is not to use space and grace as an excuse not to. I have to work through them and know that I'm still worthy and I'm still capable. And I have to push myself to do more and I have to push myself a little bit harder. But that's okay. If I have to push myself harder, then those around you will see that you're pushing yourself harder and you're giving yourself more um I don't want to call it credit, but you're giving yourself more reasons to fight to be a better person and to strive for more at our age, because when you're over 50 years old, you're already struggling with some things, especially if you're in the full swing of menopause. You are going to be struggling through some things that um, you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, or you would wish on your worst enemy. I don't know how that one works. For some of us, it's wishing it on our worst enemies. Um, but you can be a hormone hero, deal with your hormones and be savage about it and work yourself all the way through it and break through the barriers that are put up in front of you. And like for myself, walking is more difficult because of the neuropathy in my feet, but maybe pushing myself beyond that and doing exactly what I said earlier, putting some music on and going for that walk anyway and pushing myself a little bit further and a little bit further each day. Now, I didn't have this until this last year. I didn't have any problems with my feet. And I personally don't think it's neuropathy. I think I cracked my foot or I did something. I've been to the doctor. I did all the things, but he's like, you have neuropathy or you have this other thing. And plantar fasciitis or something like that is what he called it. But it should be better by now. It's been over a year, been no improvement. So I'm seeking another doctor so I can go get a second opinion and find out what else might be causing it, because it didn't start till I stepped on this horrible um, nut from one of my trees that was hard as a rock in the middle of the night looking for my dog. And then it was ever since then that this hurt, and I heard it right when I stepped on it. So I feel like I did something to my foot. So instead of listening to the doctor and just complaining about it, it's time for me to break through that barrier and break out of the doctor said and go find someone else that can help me with the problem with my feet, and maybe going to a podiatrist instead of a regular orthopedic doctor, because maybe a podiatrist can actually look at my feet and figure out there's something else wrong with them. So if you don't get the answers you want from one, go seek out another doctor and find out. If I didn't listen to myself a couple weeks ago, I might not be here today. So listen to your body, because your body will tell you what is going on. Your body will yell at you if it needs to. You need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital. When you're hearing things like that, you might want to listen to your body, because your body is talking to you. Your body is saying something. So anyway, now listen up, my radiant rebels over 50. This stage of life isn't the end of sexy, fun, or freedom. It's the remix. That's right. Remix. Remix it up. Like, take all your old songs and put them together, and that's your new life. And it comes with some hot flashes. It comes with some night sweats. It comes with all those things. We got wisdom to go with it. We got some wit, and we have a side of estrogen laced in with empowerment. We can do it. We can do this next stage of life. And by the way, if you have your own Dear Margaret letters brewing, don't hold back. Hit that inbox. Send them to us. Dear Marge, DEARMARG at GurlTauX.com. And please, for the love of God, like, subscribe, share. I am trying so hard to reach 50, 100 subscribers. Please like and share, and subscribe to my channel, even if it's just for sympathy. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do any of that if it's just for sympathy. Do it because you actually like the show, and we're getting better and better, and we're trying to continuously improve. But until then, remember, life after 50 is like a vintage car. More maintenance, but damn, the ride's still smooth. Stay glowing, stay knowing, and as always, keep your lashes long and your patience longer. You're going to need it, because this is going to be a ride that you didn't realize you were buckled in for a long haul. So remember that. Anyway, don't forget to share your hot flashes with those around you, like I do with my husband. Keep your humor high and your estrogen balanced and your spandex stretchy. This is Gurl TauX signing off with a hot flash and my hair flip. But anyway, talk to y'all soon. I'll be back tomorrow, and we will talk some more about maybe the things that we can do to improve our life after 50. We'll see. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, and thank you for joining me. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and all my socials are Gurl TauX, GurlTauX. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching Gurl TauX live broadcast, which airs weekdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to send in your Dear Margaret questions. Then join us for our opinion-based answers. We love having you. Thanks for taking the time to be with us tonight. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share with your friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.